Is it okay? Okay.
可以
It's
了。
okay?
有了
Okay.
Okay.
Good afternoon, distinguished yes, ladies and gentlemen, speakers and participants, both on-site and online. So welcome to workshop number 110. The topic of the workshop is AI innovation, responsible development, and ethic imperative. And the workshop is co-organized by CAST, UN Consultative Committee on Information Technology, CCIT, and Internet Society of China, ISC. So I'm David. You can just call me David because the same pronunciation in Chinese and English. I'm the Deputy Secretary of IIC and the Deputy Director of China IGF. I'm honored to moderate today's session. So here nowadays, we stand at a very important moment where AI's transformative power must align with ethical imperatives. Therefore, the workshop will explore how to foster innovation while ensuring responsibility, inclusivity, and alignment with the Global Digital Compact and UNESCO's ethical frameworks. Okay, let's begin. First, I would like to introduce the speakers of today. First, Mr. Huang Chengqing, the Vice President of Internet Society of China and the Director of China IGF. And Professor Gong Ke, Chair of CCIT. And Ms. Zhang Xiao, Vice President of CNIC, IGF mega member and Executive Deputy Director of China IGF. And Mr. Guilherme Zanella de Souza Godoy, Director of Digital Inclusion of UNESCO. And Professor Qian Yiqin from Beijing Normal University, and Professor Ricardo Israel Robles Palayu from Mexico, and Dr. Daisy Salim Mansala from the University of Witwatersrand Library, South Africa. Okay, let's begin. First, I will invite Professor Gong Ke, Chair of CCIT. Please, he will deliver our opening remarks online. Okay, Professor Gong, the floor is yours.
Thank you, David. Ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, on behalf of one of the organizers of this workshop, CCIT, I welcome you all to join this very important discussion. CCIT stands for the Consultative Committee on Information Technology under the China Association for Science and Technology. CCIT has participated in all 20 editions in the past 20 years of IGF, sharing the perspectives and the practices of China's ICT communities with international partners to promote internet governance to be effective, inclusive, and serves to the common interest of all people. Today, the theme of our workshop is AI innovation, responsible development, and ethical imperatives. Artificial intelligence, in short AI, are making breakthroughs in numerous fields at an accelerated pace, reshaping sectors ranging from agriculture, manufacturing, transportation, to education, healthcare, social services, and governance. Significantly, artificial intelligence is influencing the development and operation of the internet and other ICT services. Yet challenges and risks persist. Lack of explainability and transparency in big AI models, weak robustness and precision, potential bias and discrimination, and the danger of exacerbating existing digital divides both between and within countries. To maximize AI's potential for achieving sustainable development while minimizing its negative impacts, international collaboration and international consensus is essential. Through technical innovation to enhance AI's explainability, transparency, safety, and robustness, and through proper regulation based on global consensus on AI principles, interoperable standards, and rules. This workshop will address three core policy dimensions. First, inclusive development. How can policies safeguard technology access for developing nations and prevent AI from worsening digital disparities? Second, global governance. How can national frameworks align with the United Nations Global Digital Compact and operationalize the UNESCO's recommendation on the ethics of artificial intelligence? Third, multiple stakeholders collaboration. What mechanism, models can foster effective cross-sector and cross-border collaboration, especially in today's geopolitical context? Dear colleagues, we sincerely invite all of you to actively engage in today's dialogue, share your insights on establishing an effective global governance models, and jointly chart a course for AI development that drives sustainable transformation and delivers a responsible digital future for all. Thank you again for joining the workshop.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for Professor Gong's opening remarks. And next, we welcome Mr. Huang Chengqing, the Vice President of Internet Society of China and the Director of China IGF. For his opening perspective, Mr. Huang, please.
尊敬的各位来宾、女士们、先生们，大家好。
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good day to you all.
非常高兴能够和大家相聚在联合国互联网治理论坛，共同探讨人工智能的创新发展问题。
It's a great pleasure to be here with you at the UN IGF to discuss the innovation and development of artificial intelligence.
在此，我谨代表本次研讨会的主办方，向各位参会的嘉宾表示热烈的欢迎。
On behalf of the organizer of this workshop, I would like to extend a warm welcome to all the participants.
近年来，人工智能技术的飞速发展，深刻地影响人类生产生活方式，同时也带来了挑战，例如算法、偏见、隐私泄露、虚假信息、深度伪造、信息茧房等问题。
In recent years, the rapid development of AI technology has profoundly impacted human production and lifestyle. However, it has also brought about many challenges, such as algorithmic bias, privacy breaches, disinformation, deepfakes, and information confusion.
如何确保人工智能创新朝着以人为本的方向发展，已经成为一个亟待处理好的关键问题。这一问题不仅涉及到技术和法律层面，更涉及科技伦理和社会道德层面。
How to ensure that the innovation of AI develops in a human-oriented direction has become a crucial issue that needs to be addressed urgently. This issue involves not only technological and
麦克风没有了，没有了。
Okay, excuse me.
喂，
This the mic is doesn't work. Okay, can you help us to resolve the problem?
哦，麦克风没有电了。
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Okay, it's okay.
This issue involves not only technological and legal aspects, but also ethical and moral considerations.
因此，明确好负责任的人工智能创新发展路径与伦理考量，对全球人工智能产业的稳健、安全、可持续发展至关重要。
Therefore, clarifying the path to responsible innovation and development of AI and ethical considerations is of great significance for the stable, safe, and sustainable development of global AI industry.
当前，人工智能的创新发展是全球性的，需要国际社会的共同参与和合作。各国应以负责任的态度参与到人工智能的全球治理中。
At present, the innovation and development of AI is of a global affair that requires the participation and cooperation of the international communities. Countries should participate in the global governance of AI with a sense of responsibility.
人工智能技术最终目标应该是促进人类福祉，提高人类整体的幸福感和生活质量。
The ultimate goal of AI technology should be to promote human well-being and enhance the overall happiness and quality of the life of the people.
目前，越来越多的国际组织、国家政府和行业协会出台人工智能伦理原则与治理政策。
An increasing number of international organizations, governments, and industry civil society have introduced ethical principles and governance policies for AI.
2021年11月，在联合国教科文组织第41届大会上，193个会员国一致通过了人工智能伦理问题的建议书，提出应提供新的机会，激励合乎伦理的研究和创新。
In November 2021, at the 41st session of the UNESCO General Conference, 193 member states unanimously adopted the recommendation on ethics of artificial intelligence, which proposed to provide new opportunities to encourage ethical research and innovation, and to ground AI technology in human rights and fundamental freedoms, values, and ethical considerations.
使人工智能技术立足于人权和基本自由价值观原则，以及关于道义和伦理的思考。
To ground AI technology in human rights and fundamental freedoms, values, and ethical considerations.
2023年10月，中国发布全球人工智能治理倡议，强调坚持以人为本、智能向善，为世界提供了基于人类命运共同体理念的人工智能治理中国方案。
In October 2023, China released the Global AI Governance Initiative, emphasizing the principles of people-oriented and intelligence for good, and provided a Chinese solution for global AI governance based on the concept of a community with a shared future for mankind.
同时，我们要认识到，推动人工智能创新，遵循科技向善的伦理理念，不仅需要各国政府的推动引导，还需要社会各界的广泛参与。
At the same time, we must recognize that promoting the innovation of AI in accordance with the ethical concept of technology for good requires not only the guidance of governments, but also the extensive participation of all sectors of the society.
中国互联网协会作为中国互联网行业社会组织，一直致力于推动中国互联网行业自律与社会责任体系的建设工作。
As a civil society in China, Internet Society of China has always been committed to promote self-discipline and the construction of social responsibility in China's Internet industry.
发布多项倡议文件与行业公约，
and has released a number of initiative documents and industry conventions.
基于联合国互联网治理论坛的宝贵平台，协会同时也承担着中国 IGF 秘书处的工作，积极参与互联网全球治理，分享中国在数据安全、算法治理等方面的有益实践。
Based on the valuable platform of the Internet Governance Forum, ISC also undertakes the work of the China IGF Secretary, actively participating in global Internet governance and sharing China's beneficial practice in data security and algorithm governance.
为实现以人工智能技术为代表互联网的前沿技术全球治理贡献力量。
Contributing to the global governance of Internet frontier technologies represented by AI technology.
女士们、先生们，我认为推动人工智能走向负责任发展道路的核心目标是确保 AI 技术造福人类，尊重人的基本权利，促进公平正义，并防范潜在的风险。
Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that the core goal of promoting the responsible development of AI is to ensure that AI technology benefits humanity, respects humans' fundamental rights, promotes fairness and justice, and prevents potential risks.
希望通过本次研讨会能够推动研讨各方凝聚共识，加强交流合作，携手共进，共同为推进人工智能的创新发展献计献策。
I hope that through this workshop, we can bring together the consensus of all parties, strengthen exchanges and cooperations, and work together to contribute to the innovation and development of AI.
最后，祝本次研讨会取得圆满成功，谢谢大家。
I wish the workshop a complete success. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Huang, for his opening perspective. And now we turn to our first presentation. First speaker is Mr. Guilherme Zanella de Souza Godoy, Director for Digital Inclusion at UNESCO. His topic is Shaping Humanistic and Inclusive AI Innovation. Okay, Mr. Godoy, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. First and foremost, thank you so much for the invitation to be here. And the previous two speakers already did the part of my job because they explained better than I could do what are the key characteristics of the UNESCO recommendations on ethic and AI. So probably they saved me a few seconds on this conversation. So the first important thing here, if you need to take just one element of my 5 minutes, is this one. We shouldn't put innovation and protection and promotion of human rights as contradictory goals in this conversation about AI. It's possible to innovate and at the same time protect and promote fundamental freedoms and human rights and be ethical. This should be actually our aim. We shouldn't negotiate that. Actually, good innovation is very much related to the fact that we are not leaving anyone behind. Otherwise, it's an innovation that benefits just a specific group in our society. So that said, the spoiler made, this is my conclusion. Let me just go into some specifics. UNESCO is celebrating its 80th anniversary this year, right? We were created together with the UN system in 1945. And if you look into the very first paragraph of the UNESCO Constitution, you will see there that UNESCO is an organization that should promote the free flow of information and ideas. So from the very start of UNESCO, every technological revolution were brought to UNESCO to discuss, well, how we support this technological revolution and at the same time we keep this mandate of protecting the free flow of information and ideas, which is broadly connected with the overall protection and promotion of the international human rights law system and the international standards that all UNESCO's 194 member states have agreed on the first place. So as you can imagine, it's easy to say, but it's not that easy to do. And if we want to summarize in a nutshell, is what the previous two speakers already said. At the end of the day, when we are looking into and assessing these technological changes, in this case is AI, but a few years ago was another thing, tomorrow will be quantum or whatever, we are looking into three big things. We need to find ways to foster the huge opportunities we have with these technological revolutions and fostering these opportunities to everyone. We need to mitigate the risks, and eventually we need to prosecute the harms. And it's not one thing or the other. It's one thing and the other. And that's the basic of the governance system. How we do this, how we enhance the opportunities, mitigate the risks, and eventually prosecute the harms. In the view of UNESCO and the United Nations system, we do that implementing the international agreements, the international standards that we have agreed on the first place, right? In our case, for example, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So the UNESCO recommendation on ethics and AI actually is a translation to the AI sphere of these 80 years of history in dealing with the different technological changes that we had and how we can assess those changes, keeping in mind these original commitments and principles of our societies, again, in our case, the human rights system and the human rights declaration. So to conclude, practically speaking, what we are doing now is guaranteeing that our member states are capable of using the recommendation on ethics and AI and assess themselves to understand how ready they are to move to the next step. So more than 70 UNESCO member states have already implemented the readiness assessment methodology, which is a good self-assessment of what is needed to make the jump. And the second big pillar of this conversation for UNESCO vis-a-vis our member states is capacity building. Is the first demand we have from our member states is to increase capacity building on these different areas. So very recently, we launched in the beginning of June in Paris a global alliance of national schools of governments and public administration in order to create processes of pre-service and in-service training of civil servants in the public sector about these issues. Then finally, to conclude, I'm also the secretary of an important intergovernmental program in UNESCO called Information for All, of which China is a very active member. And in that program, we are always emphasizing if what we are doing here is not for everyone, for all, then we are missing something. And therefore, we need to look into specific issues such as multilingualism, what we do for people with disabilities, or how we reduce gender gaps, and so on and so forth. So thank you, and a pleasure to participate in this conversation.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Godoy. Next, I will invite Professor Yiqing Qian from Beijing Normal University, and she will address risks and responsible use of AI in higher education. Okay, Professor Qian, please.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you for, Thank you for giving the opportunity to address the ethical issue here. So I choose actually a particular topic, which is the education, the ethics, the AI risk in education. So as we know that, the AI actually poses some unique, unique ethical and the risk to the society, for example, like a fairness, transparency, privacy issues, especially for the education sector. So therefore, in my presentation, following presentation, I will look at, the risk, AI risk and application of generative AI in higher education. So first of all, what kind of the application, we use at the moment in higher education? For example, like we use AI, generative AI for academic writing and learning support, personalized adaptive learning, pedagogical support, creative education, and so on. And so there's a kind of opportunity brought by the application of the generative AI, such as we can have more convenience, student-centered opportunity, and institutional opportunity, and education innovation and inclusion, reduce the workload and for across the education sector, and also free up teachers' times, allowing them to focus on more excellent teaching or innovative teachings. But at the same time, we also notice, there's many research has been going on. Look at the risk of generative AI in the educational sector. So there's several very salient risks. The first one is the acceleration of digital poverty, which means data-rich poor country will be excluded, from the development of the large language model or the algorithm. Secondly, is the lack of the national supervision and regulation, which means the technology is too fast, and most of the time is the big company, who control the technology, who know how to use it, implement it. Well, actually, the regulator, are lagging behind to regulate. So there's some kind of the gaps between the technological development and the regulation. The third one is unauthorized use of content. We know that there's so many legal cases going on at the moment, like intellectual property right issues. And then the fourth one is unexplainability of a generative model because of the black box natures. It's difficult to understand the reason for them to generate specific content. And the fifth one is the containment of AI-generated content. I think yesterday there was a report, a paper published, which talk about how the ChatGPT, the large language model actually trained by the content generated by the GPT. So that's a circle, you trained it on something which is reliable. So the result is, the outcome is reliable again. So that's a serious problem about the reliability of knowledge in the long term. And then there's a lack of the real world understanding. As we know that the large language model doesn't mean they really understand the text, the output they give to you. We know the mechanism of how the generative AI works. And that's the other two risks, which is quite significant. The one is when we look at the education, so that's if we use a large language model without awareness of risk, there's a big issue about the reduce of diversity of opinions and the marginalize of minority voice, because the opinions dominate, the general, some opinion which is the most common or dominate positions, and the deep fake issue as well. So there's some policy recommendation actually is based on the UNESCO's report. Of course, every country they give some recommendation, but here I use the recommendation from the UNESCO. So for example, the first of all, for example, we needed to educate the school and the education institution to improve their understanding of the potential benefit of the risk of artificial intelligence. So they need to understand what is the potential benefit, but at the same time, the risk in the education institutions. And the secondly, actually, is about we need to reflect on the long-term impact of generative AI on the education and research. So this is because as we notice that it's still, most of countries are still in the very early stage of adopting AI, generative AI in education. We have some advanced countries like China, America, even EU, but a lot of countries actually is still on the early stage to adapt to AI. So there's an urgent need for the public debate and policy dialogue on the long-term impact of the AI in education. But this kind of debate has to be multi-stakeholder inclusive. And the other one is the definition and implementation of age limitation of generative AI. What is age limitation for user to use AI? Because most of the AI and large language model is designed for the adult, which is 18 or at least 13 years old. So should we allow like a primary school student or middle school student under 13 to use ChatGPT? So there's a risk as well. So we need to discuss this. And the last one is about data ownership. So there's a huge debate about concentration of structures of data. So what kind of, should we allow the user-generated commercial data to be only owned by the large company, which will kind of monopolize the data? So should we have a huge debate how we should use those data? So actually, we use a case study from China and the UK, because I do not have many time to left. But you are welcome to do some research about these two countries. I think that's a very interesting case study, because China just announced two guidance. The first guidance, the guidance for the general education of artificial intelligence in primary and secondary school, and the guidance for the use of generative artificial intelligence this year. So they give a very detailed plan, how to use AI in their primary education, secondary education. Of course, there are some, for example, they have a particular approach, for example, moving from the quantitative to application to creation. So they have some pedagogical design, and they also want to have a promote kind of international standard and collaboration. Where the UK's approach is slightly different. UK also published recent this year and last year. They published very comprehensive guidance in user AI in education context. For example, the safe and effective use of AI. So they more look at the safety issue. So safety should be the top priority when decided whether to use AI in an educational setting. So these two countries is very interesting for us to explore further. I think we need an urgent debate on this, especially for those countries who hasn't have the apply AI in their education. So I stop here. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Professor Chen. Now I will invite our third speaker, Professor Ricardo Israel Robles Pelayo from Mexico, and he will share insights on innovation with responsibility, a legal and ethical perspective. Okay, Professor Pelayo, please.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. It is an honor to be here and share a reflection on a topic that is crucial to our present and above all, our future. Artificial intelligence sent both as a driver of innovation as a legal ethical challenge. AI is transforming all aspects of life, from daily activity to critical sectors such as healthcare, education, justice, and security. While AI offers great innovation potential, it also presents significant legal and ethical challenges. Its widespread use demands responsibility. Therefore, it is essential to establish guiding principles, values, regulations, and public policies to ensure the responsible and sustainable use of this resource. Based on my professional experience in Mexico and Latin America, education and the justice system are two key areas that can significantly shape how societies respond to the impact of the AI. Talking about the AI as source of stress of the students. As I mentioned in IGF in Berlin, it is urgent to apply big data in the design of the educational policies. However, it is essential not to lose the sight of what the students experience in their daily lives. Hyperconnectivity and constant use of AI-based tools can provoke insanity, distraction, and technological dependence among young people. The pressure to stay updated, the overflow of information, and the algorithms that filter and shape what we consume directly affect their emotional well-being and their ability to develop critical thinking. Despite this, we are witnessing how many educational institutions and even the national education system are hastily incorporating AI without taking the time to analyze its ethical implications. it seems that the urgency to innovate has overtaken the reflection on the human consequence this entails. And what about the artificial intelligence in the justice system? AI is already being used in areas such as crime prediction, evidence analysis, and even sentencing recommendation. However, in countries like Mexico, where the justice system faces deep structural challenges, we must ask, it is legitimate to trust an algorithm trained with biased data? Can a judge delegate their human judgment to a machine? Recently, Mexico established a system for selecting judges that prioritizes popular election over academic training and technical experience, undermining impartiality and legal quality. This reality, combined with work overload, lack of specializing training, and political electoral pressures, may lead to a dangerous trend, using AI as a shortcut to issue rulings disregarding the ethical principles and critical analysis that justice requires. And what about the AI versus ethics, morality, and critical thinking? Artificial intelligence makes decisions based on data, but lacks autonomy and ethical judgment, which can lead to bias. Ethics enables deliberation on what is right through philosophical principles, although it can become unjust when imposed authoritatively. Morality, rooted in social norms, may exclude if it's not inclusive. In this context, critical is essential for evaluating, questioning automatisms. Identifying risk, it serves as the key mediator to ensure fair and contextualized decisions. No system is infallible on its own. Critical thinking acts as the essential mediator for fair and contextualized decisions. In conclusion, artificial intelligence is already reshaping how we learn, judge, and protect ourselves. However, without ethical guidance, it can threaten human dignity. Its misuse in education, justice, and cybersecurity highlights the need for strong regulations, inclusive policies, and critical engaged society. Building a fair and sustainable digital world requires not just innovation, but shared responsibility and focus on humanity. Innovation must not be an end itself. It should be guided by law, ethics, and critical reflection. Mexico has the opportunity to build an inclusive, regulated, and people-centered artificial intelligence models. That will be true, responsible innovation. So thank you again for allowing me to share these ideas with you, and look forward to continuing to collaborate in these important forums.
Okay, thank you, Professor Pelayo. Now I will welcome Dr. DAY3 Salimansala from the University of Witwatersrand Library, South Africa, and discussing how education institutions leverage libraries to navigate AI challenges and opportunities. Okay, Dr. Salimansala, please.
Thank you. I just want to highlight on issues faced by academic libraries when we look at the integration of AI in the work that we do. And as you have heard from the other panelists here, issues around that are impacting on higher education and especially the pedagogy side. But coming from the library background, it's quite important for us when we deal with the collections from academic libraries and how do we see the interface between the collections that we have. So I just want to touch base on ethical concerns that we have, and you have heard a lot that you heard from the previous speakers, that from ethical concerns for us from the library side, we handle vast data, and it's quite crucial to navigate these ethical dilemmas responsibly from the side of the library side. When we look at technical challenges, we also are looking at issues such as interoperability of our systems, because we then also align ourselves with international databases and e-resources, and also a lack of technical expertise also hinder our seamless adoption. The other part I want to touch base on is the issues around financial constraints. And here is that, as you know, that when budgets are cut in universities, libraries are the first ones to be affected by the budget cuts. And this makes it difficult in investing in advanced AI solutions. The other aspect that's a challenge is the job displacement fears. Concerns exist among staff about the potential use of AI replacing human jobs, and actually, and especially where we have tools that we use as librarians for the services that we provide. The other challenge that I want to highlight, the issues around content digitization. At this day and age, we ensure that our special collections are digitized, and we need to ensure that as part of the effectiveness of AI, we need to ensure high quality digital content is essential for optimal functionality. The other aspect is the users. Our library users, students, academics, and researchers at large, user adaptation is quite key, and education, data literacies, and you have heard about pedagogy, I won't dwell much, but it's quite key when we look at adoption of our technologies, especially in AI. The other aspects that we pick up as a challenge is the interference with traditional teaching and learning, and you have heard a little bit about the pedagogical aspect. Is quite important. The other aspect is the data at risk or the fragility of access. And here we're looking at libraries implementing robust data protection strategies such as encryption, anonymization, and access control measures, because that's key for the work that we do. The other aspect is the constant uncertainty that we pick up when we are looking at the integration of AI in academic libraries. And here are some key aspects I want to highlight. Data quality and reliability. Here we're looking at the inconsistent or biased data that can lead to unreliable outcomes, making it challenging for us to maintain the accuracy and reliability of AI-driven services in libraries. The other aspects that key is technological dependence. And here we're looking at issues around cyber attacks that actually compromise library resources and services. As you know, that with libraries, we deal mostly with international platforms and tools. The other aspect is evolving technologies, like I've highlighted, that for libraries globally, we tend to subscribe to similar tools and databases, and these require also resource-intensive, which are quite resource-intense, and also impacts on the longevity and stability of our current system, and we need to keep abreast of the evolving technologies. The other aspect is on the issue of ethical and privacy concerns. When we use AI in libraries, we need to ensure that the AI systems that we have are transparent and fair as an ongoing challenge. The other aspect is the user adaptation, and we can't overemphasize the involvement of the users of the tools, the databases that we have in libraries, to ensure that equality and access is across the board, as we have heard from a colleague from UNESCO. So educating users and building their confidence in these technologies, that's the daily bread that we do in libraries, and it can become difficult. The other aspect is around regulatory and policy changes. Libraries must stay informed and compliant with these changes, which can add to the uncertainty that we face. The other aspect that it's the benefits that we look into. Other than the benefits that we have in academic libraries, it's personalized learning. We need to ensure that AI as the tool can actually assist us in recommending books, articles, and other resources to ensure that personalized learning of the user. This tailored approach would also enhance the learning experience of our students and researchers. The other aspect is regarding automation of repetitive tasks. We do a lot of cataloging, which are routine work, and indexing and inventory management. And we see the use of AI actually allowing librarians to focus more on complex tasks and intellectually demanding activities. And that's how we see the movement with the AI tools. Improved data management and analysis. Also, we see AI tools that can help and manage analyze large data sets, making it easier to derive meaningful insights and support on research activities. And the other aspect, no library can work or be effective without access to its resources 24/7, irrespective of where you are located. And we're saying AI-powered chatbots and virtual assistants can provide around-the-clock support to users, answering queries and assisting library services at any given time. The other aspects that AI offers us that we pick as offering numerous benefits to academic libraries, it's enhanced search and discoverability. We can't operate without AI-driven algorithms that can analyze vast data sets quickly, improving the accuracy and efficiency of search results. And this helps our researchers and our students to find relevant information faster. Enhanced accessibility, I can't dwell much on that. It's about the speed to text, the text to speech, and other assistive technologies for the, disabled users and so forth. When we come to resource planning and collection development, we see predictive analytics that can help librarians plan their resources and develop collections that better meet the needs of their users. And these benefits actually highlight the transformative potential of AI in academic libraries, making them much more efficient, user-friendly, capable, and supporting advanced research. The other part that we delve much in libraries is the issues around repositories. And our repositories, whether it's on data repositories or repositories about our collections, also we see the benefits where AI can serve as agents that can also enhance the functionalities of our repositories. And how so? Here we're looking at content generation, where this includes generating summaries, translations, and even new research articles by analyzing and synthesizing information from the repository. The other aspect would be enhanced search and discoverability. Here we're looking at AI agents that can improve the search and discovery process by understanding user queries better and providing more relevant results. And they can also suggest related material that users might find useful. And that's how we see the growth in how AI can be used in our repositories. Other aspects would relate to automated metadata creation. And this will also assist us in reducing the manual effort required when we catalog our collections in the library. The other aspect will be on personalized recommendations. Here, AI agents can offer personalized recommendations for books to a particular user, articles, and other resources, enhancing the user's experience. The other aspect
I'm sorry,
will be on
Mr.
interactive learning.
Salamensala, yes, time is up. Okay, every speech only have 5 minutes. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, thank you, Dr. Salamensala. For our special remarks, I will invite Ms. Zhang Xiao, Vice President of CNIC, IGF Mega Member, and Executive Deputy Director of China IGF. Okay, Ms. Zhang, share your thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. 需要这个吗？
It's okay.
I'm glad to be involved in this interesting discussion. And I have 3 points to share after listening to all the distinguished speakers. The first is why we are still talking about innovation and governance. And as I heard some people, especially from industry, that governance could not be too early because AI is still a young baby at this moment. But as we know that you cannot go to the road without brake with your car. So actually, I think from the Chinese philosophy that's the beauty of the unity of opposites. So from the innovation and governance, especially something like ethics, they are not opposites. They are aligned with each other in nature, in our philosophy. And because without good governance, we cannot go further. And so my second point is that what we can learn from internet governance, because we are here in the Internet Governance Forum, and of course we know the internet governance has the beauty of the multi-stakeholder approach. But what's the difference from the AI and internet? As we know, the internet has connected all of us, horizontally, that we are connected. It's flat. But for AI, it has changed each field vertically. So they'll be more complex, especially in ethics and safety issues. So what we can learn from the internet governance, definitely multi-stakeholder, but then we should go further. They'll be more complex. And the third question is what we can do in the future. Definitely, I think for AI governance, people, we should find something. Of course, multi-stakeholder is beautiful. We should listen to different people, but still we should go further. We need to find something in common. And one thing I think particularly important is ethics and value. That should be, in my mind, as there should be a set of frameworks of ethics as we have done by UNESCO. But I think human-centric is something we all recognize, human-centric, because I think AI is more empowering, should be more empowering people, more enabling than just prevent or control the machines. That's a human behind the machines. So I think human-centric, that means we should raise the awareness of each people, of each person, raise awareness that something is going to happen. And because it becomes too complex and sometimes it's hard to find something common. But still, let's find something common. I think the raise awareness, human-centric, capacity building, and we are all doing, especially like student-centric capacity building. And so also, I think we should have some shared vocabulary, including framework of ethics, and also interoperable standards. So let's find something common and still allows the beauty of multi-stakeholder approaches, considering the different culture and backgrounds. So actually, I think very important that we can learn something from the internet governance, the multi-stakeholder approach, and also we should be more enabling and responsible for AI because it has been more complex and also has the ethics inside. That's my very short comments. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Zhang. And so here we still only have 6 meetings because in my schedule we have a free discussion, but the time is up. Okay, I will make a conclusion. So we have 3 critical takeaways emerge. First, inclusion is a foundation. AI must bridge, not deepen, global divides, especially in the global south. And the second, governance requires unity, and national frameworks must harmonize with international norms like UNESCO's ethic recommendation. And the third, innovation thrives with guidance rails. Ethical by design ensures AI serves humanity, not vice versa. So if you have some questions, or we can make a discussion, and maybe we can have some more discussion and dialogues after the workshop. And so we believe that through our shared efforts, AI can become a force for good, advancing economic and social development and creating a better future for all. So do you have some questions? You can ask, and our speakers maybe will answer you. We still have 4 minutes. Okay, if you have question, you can raise your up. Okay, so I'm very glad to meet you in this workshop. And on behalf of CCIT, ISC, and China IGF, I think I thank our brilliant speakers, engaged participant, and IGF secretary, especially the IGF secretary. So thank you, IGF, for giving us an important and equal platform to share our experiences and discuss the problems and share the opinions. So we hope that IGF will hold continuously. Maybe it's the same hope. Okay, the time is up. If you want to make more collaboration, we can discuss and make some more dialogue after the workshop. Okay, thank you. Thank you.